Hello, my name is Mitch, and I draw Blood Force, and we're back with more Gen 13, Issue 2. But first, my name is Mitch, and I draw Blood Force. Hello, friends. Welcome to Blood Force. So this is Blood Force. Blood Force is a comic book that I write and draw. It is both a celebration and a parody of 90s extreme comics, and it is full of crazy stuff like this, and the action is only getting better with every page. And in order to read Blood Force, all you have to do is open the description below, click the link, go to my Patreon, and subscribe there. By subscribing on my Patreon, not only do you get access to the Blood Force comic, all of it in its entirety, you also get access to every video that I make before I post it to YouTube, usually about a week or two in advance, as well as the pre-Blood Force stuff. So we're talking about the sketches I made coming up with Blood Force, as well as a couple of projects I worked on before I did Blood Force. All this for just $3 American. You cannot get Arm Blades and Vengeance for a better price. So subscribe today, let's get Blood Force out on those shelves, and let's give the world the comics it deserves. Alright, so we're back with more Gen 13, and a pretty dynamic cover. Pretty good, keeping up the pace from the last issue. It's always funny seeing this Gen 13, though. I'm pretty sure this was an X before, and they just kind of blanked it out, but no, we'll put a 13 and some like DNA stuff in there. That'd be pretty good. Nobody will notice. And this one is introducing Rainmaker in a panel which is more than a little reminiscent of the introduction of Longshot. And I wonder if that is on purpose, because, you know, Longshot is an Art Adams. Longshot is the first Art Adams character, at least with Marvel. Or, you know, in published comics, really. Longshot miniseries was Art Adams' first published work. So, yeah, that's kind of his deal. And, of course, Art Adams was J. Scott Campbell's primary influence, so I wonder if that was meant as a kind of homage. That'd be kind of cool. But we're gonna get a little bit of demonstration of powers on the cover here. That's good stuff. Not really using a ruler with our speed lines, but I guess that's all right. Interesting having them all spread out like that. Don't see that too much. All right, and we're going to get, like, the team keeps building here, and I got to wonder what the fuck is up. So, co-creators Jim Lee and Brandon Choi. On Wikipedia, it says J. Scott Campbell was instrumental in creating the team, so I don't know. Plot Jim Lee and Brandon Choi. Dialogue Jeff Marriott. I checked, that credit is not on issue 1. So they're bringing in somebody else to script for Brandon Choi. More likely than not, because Brandon Choi is probably writing a couple other comics as it is. But it's interesting that this is the one he's not bothering to run the script on. And I think Gen 13 probably will be better off for it. Still, J. Scott and Alex Garner doing the artwork. We get Joe Chiodo doing the colors. Letters by Ken Lopez. So we're done with Chris Eliopoulos. I didn't even notice any Chris Eliopoulos lettering in the last one. Yeah, that does not look like his usual kind of thing. This is, if this is him, this feels like him kind of phoning it in a little bit. These are some pretty hand-drawn looking letters. And I mean, we're used to seeing the... Man! Like, that's straight out of fucking the Batman TV show. Yeah, not even like really fun. Very weird. So maybe he just did it as, you know, we need a guy. Chris had a minute, and he whipped some shit off. And maybe now they've got a more dedicated guy. I don't know. We'll have to see going forward, I guess. But then we got colors. Joe Chioda still good. Color separators. All sorts of people. Ink assists. So somebody's picking up the slack on these. Color assists. Letters editor, who it turns out to be the dialogue scripter. Like, we're just adding on roles here. Like, they're, I mean, you know, on the plus side, Wildstorm's like got to be rolling in money right now. And they're just like, fuck, hire more people. Just spread out. Delegate. We have the money. There's no reason that like we shouldn't be hiring more people to do these jobs. Man, look at all this, eh? So many people. So, we're starting out with the Gen 13 peoples escaping from the facility that they were at. And we get a pseudo splash page to start off with. That's always nice. And then we get a page that should be pretty familiar to us if we bought The Art of Homage. Because this is, we saw how J. Scott Campbell built this specific page from pencils to inks. So yeah, here we go. There's what I suppose is the layouts. It's pretty comprehensive there though. And then pencils. Followed by the inks and then eventually by the colors. Pretty good stuff, and it's all right there. So that's all right. And it's always nice comparing the colors with the finished product because you can kind of compare and see what the colorist is adding. In this case, not a ton. A little bit here and there in terms of separations, but I guess mostly at the bottom here. But yeah, no, it's mostly there in the finished art. Interesting thing in that we know that, or we recognize that particular power signature from this guy here who appears to be on their side. Not quite the same as that one, but pretty close. And pretty close to that one. And we know these are different guys anyway, because that guy just got shot there. So maybe that's just a Gen 13 or a Gen thing, is that particular power signature. That'd be interesting if that was like a thing where, you could recognize somebody, like a program somebody was in by the power signature. That's something you could use. But we don't know him. We don't know Rainmaker either. So naturally that should make us suspicious about both of them. And so this is Tom Hallinan. I suppose that could be a name, theoretically. He crashes the thing chasing them. That's a pretty good panel. That looks pretty Art Adams. And we're going to get the Wildstorm logo as a background on this one. And if you look back, no, it's not quite the same, but we do notice there's an awful lot of that effect going around. This is the first time I've seen that. So, I wonder, I did actually go back and check and see, so when did they start using the Wildstorm logo? Because it's also in issue 1, which was February of 1994. And if you look at the Wildcats issues of that time, yeah, you see number 7 here, which is January 94. Homage, 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 homage. They mention Aegis here. No mention of Wildstorm. February 94. Oh, there's Wildstorm. So, here, like I said, March 94, this is their brand new logo. And maybe a new effect, and they're kind of proud of it. Like, almost to the point where I wonder if there was a discussion like, yo, whenever we do lightning in the background, we should make it like a, like our trademark thing. And that'll be like our signature. I can't say for sure that conversation happened. I'd just like to think it did. But no, if I see this in future, that will, I think, produce a bit of a chuckle. And just notice now that foot is pretty fucked up. But overall, interesting panel. So Thomas Hallinan, that was his name? Tom Hallinan. Yeah, he sends Burnout to go and take out the Gen people who are following them. It does feel like it's getting a little crisper. There is the question, why is this Tom Hallinan guy calling the shots? But, we get people using their names in the field. Like, hard to believe the kids back in school called me Burnout. Yeah, that's crazy. And got to keep those gunships away from Roxy, Grunge, and Sarah. So she's just Sarah Rainmaker. So that's good stuff. So yeah, we're making sure everybody knows who everybody's names is. That's good. Mentioning that, it's tougher to throw the boulder, but it's easier than it would have been an hour ago, and she's getting stronger all the time. And then, what's her fucking name? Is it Freefall? I think so. Gets captured by the guys, and Rainmaker uses her powers, to, I don't know, do some kind of wind thing. And they say, when did you get powers? And she says, just a little something I picked up back home on the reservation, so I hope this isn't she has Native American powers. But it's possible. And so, yeah, she's getting levitated. And, oh, yeah, it's like she was in free fall. And, free fall. Oh. And so that's her first time manifesting. So whatever her deal is, she can, at the very least, levitate people. You would think telekinesis, but maybe not. And he's already going by Grunge. And he's the only one who hasn't manifested any powers yet. And she says he's already super dense, which I think does end up being his power set. That he's got, a dense molecular structure, that kind of thing. All right, so that's their pursuers taken care of. They're going to go find some shelter. And they do the whole, how do we get into this mess anyway? And Tom Hallinan is like, I don't want to point any fingers. And, so I guess that means it's Fairchild. And we get a recap of the last issue, which is a little strange, considering, it was just an issue ago, but also, Gen 13 hasn't been delayed in any way. This is a month later. So I don't know what that's about. Yeah, for a second I'm like, is it March 95? Nope. But we move on quickly to what happens after the end of issue number 1, where they get caught by the Black Razor guy and she starts busting out of her clothes. So Grunge throws her a shirt, and all of the Black Razor guys chase after her, led by the sister of Threshold. And J. Scott Campbell's going to make sure that shirt is still kind of falling off her. So the three of them open a hatch that they can't really escape from. Fairchild's pretty sure that she would survive. She doesn't know about the other two. And we get a pinup by Richard Johnson, a name I'm not familiar with. It's good. I don't know that it fits the image style. I suppose, if you can get Victor Bridges, I suppose this guy's fine. Good details everywhere. Yeah. I don't know, I feel like I should know who that guy is. That he probably developed into somebody interesting, or could have, anyway. And we're on Savage Dragon number 8 in real time. This is what I mean about jumping around in the timeline. We just finished Savage Dragon number 3 here, and so this is where we are in the actual timeline. So they're kind of trapped by the Black Razor guys, and then Burnout and Rainmaker and Tom Hallinan come to their rescue. Like I said, we haven't seen either of you two, but we haven't seen either of them before this. And Burnout floats them out of here on a thermal updraft. I don't know that can happen, but whatever, doesn't matter. And she looks back, and the sister's smiling, because this is all part of the deal with the program, I guess. And turns out that Tom Hallinan had a uniform for Fairchild that fit her, and did not include any legs in the outfit. And we get we're still on exposition here. Just saying again what the Gen program is. And Tom Hallinan is going to advocate for going back to the Gen peoples and killing everybody there, I believe. And to prove his point, one of the guys who's following them, he does his eye thing and explodes his head. And again, we've seen this power before. Although we've seen it on a couple different people. But we've also seen it paired with a dude who smiles creepy like that. So I think we kind of know who that is. And some of this dialogue is not great. It just, starts exploding his head and says, "Oh, that really hurts." And Caitlin decides not to go with them because Tom enjoys killing too much. It's like, okay, that's fine. Oh, was this the sister or was it Ivana? Like, is there a way to tell? I guess it should theoretically be Ivana. Anyway. So the rest of them, Burnout, Freefall, and Grunge, all agree to accompany Tom back to the Gen headquarters where they're going to break in and, I don't know, wipe their information or kill everybody or something. And that's what they're doing here. But naturally, Tom Holland is in fact Threshold, so he's led them into a trap. So they all get captured. And we get some creepy brother-sister stuff, predating Game of Thrones, and that's Wildstorm, just always out on the cutting edge. And Fairchild wakes up out in the desert and has some, I don't know, like telepathic link with Freefall, it seems like, which I don't believe has been mentioned before now. So that's the first time. They say here, don't know why Roxy and I made that wild connection, but I'm glad we did. So I guess they mean like just now, not anything before. And she literally finds a gun in the dirt. I mean, there were a bunch of dudes chasing them, and there's wreckage all over the place, but she did just pick up a gun from the ground. And they didn't mention that that's what exactly, it's there, but whatever. I mean, I guess it's okay. It's not, it's just a little bit, okay, sure. And we get Fairchild with a giant gun. So that's good stuff. And he can draw some guns really nicely here. Okay, not a ton of point of interest in the letters here. But just, to reiterate, good splash page to end on. Always good to do the, this time it means war kind of last panel. And then we get to the Gen 13 number 0 coupon thing. And the first thing we see as we goofed is like, okay, that's interesting. Don't cut the coupon out of Gen 13 number 1. Well, that's a little late. But they explain that the coupon was actually printed on the back of a story page. And I guess it was, too. Oops. So you can send in a photocopy of that coupon. And, then the rest of them, you send in the originals. Unless you already cut it out, in which case, then you probably want to buy another copy of Gen 13 number 1. That wasn't the point of it or anything. That probably wasn't. And we're finding out that next month we're going to get a Pit crossover. Because those always go well. A Pit has a pretty singular purpose. And there's Rainmaker. Did Rainmaker get captured with the other two? Do we notice? It looks like she did. Probably. And then we get an ad for the Violator miniseries by Alan Moore and Bart Sears. And that is a series that I remember fondly. If we can get to it, I would definitely like to do the Violator miniseries at some point. It's pretty great. And some more Tim Sale Deathblow. And again, that looks pretty good. There's a little bit of no holding lines going on there, but it's more just like he knows how to do a black and white composition. And it's nice. And then we get Stormwatch number 25. And I mean, like, I know we're jumping around a little bit, but no, this is way too early for this, which it is. This is, I don't know if you guys remember, this is the Images of Tomorrow gimmick. So what that was they got to like issue 10 on Stormwatch, and they decide we're going to jump ahead like 15 issues and just kind of like see where the team's at, and we can like change a bunch of shit up. And that sounds like fun. And it does sound like fun. Glimpsing the future, that kind of thing. Assuming you can get there. So there were 4 books that participated in the Images of Tomorrow thing. One of them is Stormwatch. One of them is Supreme. Both of them got there. And then the other 2 were Brigade and Bloodstrike. And both of those crapped out at number 22. So that's hilarious. Bloodstrike did make up the difference a little bit, actually, in the last few years with Bloodstrike Brutalists, which is almost a completely different comic by Michel Fife. My friend Jay actually pointed it out to me. And where he did the fill-in issues. So he did, like the usual progression for Bloodstrike is, 21, 22, 25. And then he did 23 and 24, only they look to be quite brutal from what I can see. And it seems to be tough to track down those. I'd love to do them eventually, but we'll see if that's even possible. But it's a neat concept. But that's going to do it for Gen 13 number 2, I think. Pretty good, although like a lot of exposition. The artwork helps. The artwork helps keep it fun. And yeah, at least we got kind of new information. But yeah, not a lot actually happened in the course of the issue. Yeah, they were on the run. They fought back a little bit, and then they went back to the headquarters. Yeah, maybe there'll be a bit more in the next one. So we'll have to see in the next video. In the meantime, please hit like if you like this video. Hit subscribe, hit the notifications. Go over and follow me on Twitter, but more importantly, go and subscribe on Patreon, because that's where all these videos go before they get uploaded to YouTube. So, for instance, if you want to see how Gen 13 number 3 turned out, that's sitting on my Patreon right now. It's also where all the Blood Force pages go, and all of the process stuff leading up to Blood Force. So it's a pretty good collection of content. But yeah, thanks for watching this one. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.